Miss Winfrey, thank you for being here today. Can you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Oprah Winfrey.
Miss Winfrey, you're here to testify about your interactions with the defendant, Sean Combs, also known as Diddy. Can you describe the nature of your relationship with him over the years?
Well, Emily, may I call you Emily? I've known Sean for over 2 decades. Our paths crossed often in the entertainment world, galas, award shows, charity events. He was always charming, larger than life, someone who could light up a room. But over time, I saw a side of him that wasn't in the spotlight, a side that made me deeply uneasy.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by uneasy? What specific experiences led to that feeling?
It started subtly. Around 2005, Sean invited me to an exclusive event at his Miami estate. He said it was a celebration of his latest album, a gathering of industry giants. I went because, well, I thought it was professional, a chance to network. But when I arrived, the atmosphere was different. The energy was off. There were people there, young women mostly, who seemed nervous, almost out of place. I noticed bowls of pills on tables, like party favors. I didn't know what they were at first, but later I overheard someone mention ecstasy and something called ketamine. I saw Sean encouraging guests to take them, not explaining what they were. It felt wrong, coercive even.
Objection, Your Honor, this is speculative. Miss Winfrey is not a pharmacologist and cannot confirm the nature of any substances.
Thank you, Your Honor. I didn't touch those substances. I've built my life on being present on clarity. But I saw others take them, some hesitantly, after Sean's insistence. He had this way of making you feel like you couldn't say no. His presence was commanding, almost intimidating.
Miss Winfrey, can you describe a specific incident that stood out to you at one of these events?
Yes, and this is hard for me to say because I've spent my life uplifting others, trying to see the good. But I saw Sean bully people, staff, assistants, even guests. At one event, a young woman, maybe in her 20s, spilled a drink near him. It was an accident, but he berated her in front of everyone, calling her names, saying she'd never work in this town again. His voice was cold, calculated. I stepped in, tried to calm things down, but he turned on me too. He said, "Oprah, you don't want to cross me, I know people." It wasn't just a threat, it was a reminder of his power.
Miss Winfrey, you mentioned feeling threatened. Did Mr. Combs ever cross physical boundaries with you?
Yes. This is difficult. It was in 2010 at a private dinner in New York. Sean invited me to discuss a potential collaboration for his network. I thought it was a business meeting. After dinner, he asked me to stay for a private conversation. We were in his penthouse, just the two of us. He started talking about loyalty, about how I could be part of his inner circle. Then he moved closer, too close. He touched my face, said I was special, that I needed to loosen up. I froze. His hand lingered, and for a moment I thought he might force himself on me. I told him to stop, that I wasn't interested. He backed off, but the way he looked at me, like I'd betrayed him, stayed with me.
Objection, Your Honor, this is inflammatory and lacks specificity. Miss Winfrey is implying misconduct without evidence.
I understand, Your Honor. I'm just sharing what I felt in that moment. It was real to me. I left that night shaken, questioning if I'd misread him, but deep down I knew I hadn't.
Thank you for sharing that, Miss Winfrey. Did you ever witness or hear about Mr. Combs engaging in what you describe as organized illegal activities?
I did, and this is where it gets complicated. In 2012, I was at a party in Las Vegas. Sean was hosting, and it was one of those events where everything felt staged, like a performance. I overheard him talking to a man. I later learned he was part of his security team, about handling someone who'd crossed him. The way he said it, it wasn't just talk. It felt like a plan, like something bigger was at play. I also saw him give instructions to his staff about moving money, large sums, in ways that didn't sound legitimate. I'm no expert, but it reminded me of things I've read about racketeering, organized, deliberate.
That's significant. Did you take any actions based on what you observed?
I did something I've never told anyone publicly. I recorded a conversation. It was in 2014 at a meeting in Chicago. Sean didn't know I was recording. I'd started carrying a small device after that 2010 incident, just in case. He was talking about his parties, how he made sure everyone played their part. He laughed about how he'd gotten people to do things they didn't want to, how he had leverage. I turned that recording over to the authorities last year when I heard about this case. I couldn't stay silent anymore.
Objection, Your Honor. This is a bombshell introduced without prior disclosure. The defense demands to review this alleged recording.
Yes, Your Honor. It was submitted as evidence last month, marked as Exhibit 47. The defense was notified.
I understand. I just want the jury to know I didn't come here lightly. I've wrestled with this for years. Sean's charm, his power, it's seductive. He makes you feel like you're part of something exclusive. But then you see the cost. I saw young women at those parties, some barely adults looking scared, like they didn't want to be there. I heard whispers of freak-offs, things I didn't fully understand but knew weren't right. I couldn't ignore it anymore.
Miss Winfrey, how did these experiences affect you personally?
They changed me. I've spent my life advocating for truth for survivors. But being around Sean, seeing what I saw, it made me question my own silence. I felt complicit for too long, attending those events, not speaking up sooner. I've carried that guilt. That's why I'm here, to speak for those who can't, to shine a light on what I saw.
Thank you, Miss Winfrey. No further questions at this time.
Miss Winfrey, I respect your accomplishments, but I need to clarify some points. You've painted a vivid picture, but let's talk specifics. You mentioned a 2005 event in Miami. Can you confirm the date, the guest list, and the exact substances you claim to have seen?
It was late 2005, around November, I believe. I don't have the guest list memorized. There were dozens of people, some I knew, like music executives, others I didn't. As for the substances, I saw bowls of pills. White, pink, some shaped like, well, I heard someone say they were ecstasy. I didn't test them, but I saw people taking them after Sean's encouragement.
So no concrete evidence of illegal drugs, just hearsay? And this alleged 2010 incident in New York, can you provide the exact date, location, and any witnesses who can corroborate your story?
It was early 2010, maybe February, at Sean's penthouse in Manhattan. I don't recall the exact address. It was one of his properties. No one else was in the room when he touched me, but his staff was nearby. I didn't tell anyone at the time because I was embarrassed, afraid of what he might do to my reputation.
Embarrassed? Or perhaps you're embellishing now to fit a narrative. You're a powerful woman, Miss Winfrey. Why not report this immediately?
Mr. Agnifilo, power doesn't make you immune to fear. Sean had connections, influence. I'd seen him ruin careers. I was protecting myself, my work, my team. But I'm here now, telling the truth, because silence isn't an option anymore.
Convenient, isn't it? A recording surfaces just in time for this trial. Did anyone else hear this alleged conversation?
No, it was just us in that room. But I know what I heard. He talked about controlling people, about his parties being a way to keep people in line. It wasn't just bravado, it was calculated.
You've described Mr. Combs as intimidating, but isn't it possible you misinterpreted his actions? He's a businessman, a showman. Couldn't his behavior have been part of his persona, not a threat?
Mr. Agnifilo, I've interviewed thousands of people. I know the difference between a persona and a threat. Sean wasn't performing when he leaned into me, when he touched me, when he told me I'd regret crossing him. It was real and it was wrong.
One final question, Miss Winfrey. You've built a career on storytelling. How can this jury trust that you're not crafting a story now, perhaps to settle a personal score or gain attention?
I have nothing to gain here. My career is built on truth, on giving voice to the voiceless. I'm here because I saw things that haunt me, young women scared, a man using his power to control, to hurt. I'm not perfect, but I'm honest. I'm here for them, not for me,